Welcome back to the Annuity Happy Hour. Josh and Caleb here.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a couple weeks. For you listening, you won't even recognize that any time has passed, probably.
Probably not.
But it's been a couple weeks. We've had a busy couple weeks, and here we are again, being able to get back to it and
Yeah. It's been
talk about it all.
Well, shoot, man. I know what I'm got to talk about this week, but 2 weeks ago, or last week.
Who knows? Let's just talk about this week.
Dang, man.
That's the good thing about this industry is and especially with this podcast that we're doing, we want to do this every single week, obviously, because we want to be able to, create consistency for everyone that's listening to this
Totally.
and, let people come along the whole process. But sometimes the process gets a little bit too much in the weeds and there has to be lines at some point of something that has to go. And unfortunately for the past couple of weeks, we've had to forego our filming of this just with moving out of this office. It's one of our last episodes that we'll do here in our original office as we fully transition to remote. But we've got a whole new studio setup coming, so it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be really good. Yeah, I'm super excited for what we'll be able to do with this down the road. And it's certainly missing weeks is not for lack of desire to do them. I can tell you, this is seriously one of my favorite parts of the week, is getting to just kind of recap it and talk through it. And I feel like I learn a lot of what's going on in your world. I mean, we obviously talk on a regular basis. We have meetings and all the stuff, but to hear it, I don't know, it's in a little bit of a different format. It's pretty cool. And then I feel like there's a lot of things that I internally recognize need improvement, need growth, just in talking through what are the things that are going, that have happened, that have gone on. So anyways, yeah, one of my favorite things. I'm super excited for what we're coming up to be able to do here with the new studio in the coming weeks. It's going to be super great. But yeah, this week, go ahead.
I was going to say one thing that's been really cool for me with being at home, talking about the transition and everything, is the commute time. So I live, 45 minutes from this office that we're in currently right now. And that's an hour and a half every single day. So what I've started doing is I start my morning off with just a lot of exercise. So I just go on a walk and I put on an audiobook. And so I've gone through five and a half books in the past 2 weeks.
Right.
Just expanding my knowledge, expanding my skills. It's one of those things, man. I think that the more that we can continue expanding ourselves, the better that we do.
100%.
In our jobs, in our careers, our businesses. Obviously, whether you're an employee of that business or you own the business, and your relationships. It's just become a better person, and you will live a better life in pretty much every way.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree on development, I guess is maybe a good word to use for that. Growth, improvement. It's and the truth of the matter, honestly, is you're either getting better or you're getting worse. This idea that there's stagnancy or that there's this, you're just not doing either, I think is false, because if you're not getting better and the people around you are, then relative to everything else, you are actually further behind.
Sure.
Even if you're not actually regressing, by the effect of everything else around you improving, you are getting worse relative to the things that are around you. So yeah, you've got to be getting better. One of the things that, actually, I will say this, not this week, but last week, one thing that I specifically remember that is completely not work related, but I had a birthday, and which, by the way, thank you for Josh got me 4 walls, which was, what'd you say was a gift to Charlie Crockett or signed?
It was a gift to Charlie Crockett. So a buddy of mine used to be the tour manager for Charlie Crockett, and they gave him a bunch of whiskeys and stuff, and he doesn't drink whiskey at all. So he's like, you want all this?
Yeah.
So I got a case of all this whiskey that was signed by the distiller, and then I got this 4 walls here. It's a limited edition 4 walls whiskey, Irish whiskey.
Really good.
It's mixed with bourbon rye or something, or a Pennsylvania rye, I think.
It is, yeah. It's an Irish whiskey blended with a Pennsylvania rye, which is super. That's so unique in and of itself.
Yeah, I had never heard of that before.
That's kind of a wild combo, but super light. Obviously, I've got some ice in there. It's a little bit melted, but we saw the bottle. It's super light whiskey.
It's
super
light, but
smooth.
it's 90 proof.
Yeah, it's still 45%, but super smooth, easy to drink. So, anyways, thank you for this birthday gift. But where I was going with that was every year on my birthday, this is again a personal note, I like to just ask the Lord, okay, what's the next year? Like, what's your heart for the next year of my life, right?
Like
what's,
for you specifically?
Yes, for me specifically, like what's your heart for me in this next year? What's something like kind of characterize the year? And I think, at the start of the new year, a lot of people, they get a word for this year. This year is a word, or the word for this year,
right?
This is a year of growth. This is a year of replenish. This is a year of whatever. And I've just tended not to do that on the new year, but actually do that in line with my birth year, and ask the Lord for like a spiritual birthday present, things like that.
Nice.
Which is, I don't know, it's been pretty cool to see in years past some of the things that He's done. But this year specifically, He told me that it would be a year of stewardship. Which is extremely interesting to me. Like, as soon as I heard that, it was like thinking about last year. And 27 was a year of intentionality. And the interesting thing to me about that is that stewardship is directly predicated on intentionality. You cannot steward anything well if you're not intentional with it.
That's true. That's very true.
I can't steward this relationship well if I'm not intentional with it. I can't steward what I do in a daily work environment well if I'm not intentional with it. Can't steward resources, finances, time, anything if you are not intentional with it. So it was interesting to me to see the building from one year to the next. When we talk about improvement and growing and trying to actually become better, it's about not just one new year at a time, but actually allowing it to build on itself. So the things that you've learned to not be lost in the learning
it's like
of
the
new.
compounding of the growth that you have.
Yeah. So you can't forego yesterday's growth and development for the sake of today's. And you can't forsake today's for the sake of tomorrow. So there's an element of being present too that's necessary. But point being, if it stacks and it builds, then you'll actually be able to get to 65, 70, 80, 90 years old, God willing.
100, Caleb.
Yes, 100, triple digits, and be better at that age than you were at 25, 30, 35, whatever, right? It's like, I want to be better at 75 if I get to live that long. I want to be better at 95 than I was at 75 if I get to live that long. So it's building on that, continually allowing that to compound, to your point, which according to, I think it was Warren Buffett, is the 8th wonder of the world. Compounded interest.
Yeah.
Which is...
That's funny.
A good thread back into industry talk.
Yeah. Well, I think about closing out the year, right? And really taking inventory of the growth that's needed for you to have the success and the results that you want the years to come.
Yes.
Is super important. I mean, I do that every year as well. It's not the same. I don't have like a cool cabin to go to or anything like that. Hint, hint.
Come on.
Block it off for me. I'll go. It's a little bit harder to do with a couple kiddos.
Yeah. Hey, babe, you're going to keep the girls for the next 2 days?
You're going to keep the girls for a couple days, maybe like 2 or 3 days.
Going on daddy sabbatical.
It'd probably be me that would be more hurt than her. She'd be...
Yeah, she'd handle it fine. You'd be the one like, oh, man, I'm missing them.
Yeah, for sure. But when I think about like wrapping out a year and closing out a year and looking forward to the next year, I think about those kind of things as well. I think about like personal... What are the personal things that I want to accomplish in that next 12-month period? Fortunately, my birthday is in January. So January 17th. So if anyone's hearing this and you want to send me a gift, feel free. I will gladly accept. But it's nice because it kind of rounds out for me. So I have my birthday really close to the start of the new year. So that calendar year is about what my birthday would fall in alignment with. So I often plan like around the calendar year and how do I want to start that year, especially because like around the holidays and stuff for me, usually I take the week, around Christmas to New Year's, maybe a couple days after I take off just to be with my family, just to reflect, slow down a little bit before I know it's inevitably going to ramp back up. But one of the big things, man, is you think about the personal, you think about the business side, you think about like not just working in the business, but like what are we doing as far as like working on the business, not just working in. And I think that's something that's been really big for me this year is realizing as we grow and as we scale, there's a big difference between working in your business and working on your business. And this is one of the things that like we come up to, you and I come against a lot because you work more in the business than I do. I more work on the business.
Yeah.
And what's really cool, and we had, I mean, a little bit of this week, where it's like when I'm coming with something that I'm working on in the business, and I've collaborated with you on like specific things that you're working on in your role and your whole department and your whole side of our organization to be working on within the business. It can sometimes create that conflict, right?
Totally.
Where you're like trying to work through, okay, I'm supposed to be doing this now, but simultaneously I need to be building for the future and considering that whole piece. And I think what's really interesting about that is like when you think about setting up your next year, you're going to run into that internal conflict as well.
Yeah.
Like an agent listening to this right now, you're going to run into that internal conflict of here's the things that I need to be doing now practically, and simultaneously, here's where I know I'm supposed to be going in the future.
Right.
Right. And sometimes those things don't, it's not that they don't line up, but they contradict each other because you have to take the steps now to get to where you want to be in the future. And if you're a solopreneur, you have to be thinking about both in tandem. Now, we're fortunate enough in where we are that like I operate as like, up in the clouds and thinking about where we're going. And Caleb's like, hey, let me help these agents, get this case design created in the most efficient and effective way possible.
On a day-to-day basis, yeah.
Every single day, right. But it's really cool to like get to process that and get to think through like, where do I want to be a year from now?
Right.
Where do I want to be financially? Where do I want our business to be? Where do I want, my relationship with my wife and my kids and all that stuff to be? And what do I need to do to actually get to that place?
Right.
Part of that is you gotta keep growing. And so I'm sitting here talking about like the going through books and reading and all that kind of stuff. Like that's something that I think any individual needs to be doing that on a very consistent basis because it's the thing that continues propelling you forward in what you're going after.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely agree. It's necessary. I mean, every single person has the potential to be a cap, the ceiling, the weakest link of a chain, whatever. Like any individual can be that in an organization, and even more so in your own individual life, because I mean, yes, you've got relationships, you've got spouses, kids, whatever, but your own ability in those relationships is directly related to what you choose to develop. Right. I remember one time at a conference, golly, man, this was the Hawaii conference. Years ago. And I honestly don't even remember who said it. Otherwise, I would absolutely shout them out for this. But the whole concept was...
You're about to say, well, I came up with this thing one time.
Yeah. There's this old saying.
That's the phrase, yeah.
Oh, man, I want to say it was Lyle Wells. I don't know that for sure. But I feel so confidently that it was Lyle because I feel like I got so much out of Lyle's lectures. But the statement was, and Lyle, if you're listening to this, we just keep doing that. You can let me know if this was you or not. But other people have to deal with that which you choose not to develop. So you're actually casting the burden of your lack of development onto other people if you choose not to develop. And it's always
talk about
a choice.
Convicting statement right there.
Other people have to deal with the things. So that means your spouse has to deal with the things you choose not to develop. Your kids have to deal with the things you choose not to develop. Your employees have to deal. Your clients. Insert anybody in your life, in your world, in some capacity. And in that area, they deal with the things that you choose not to develop. So you have to keep developing. You have to keep growing. Otherwise, again, relative to your surroundings, you're going backwards.
Right.
So you've actually made yourself, by not developing, you've made yourself less valuable by staying, quote unquote, stagnant.
Right. That's powerful, man.
So it's kind of convicting to think about.
You said that, and the first image that came to my mind was my daughters. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, because my wife is a grown woman, right? So it's like, yeah, it's going to affect her for sure, but she's got the knowledge and the wherewithal to be able to rise up out of my stupidity if I ever have it, right? My kids, on the other hand, they're learning about life. They're learning how to be good humans.
Yeah.
How to have ambition, how to have drive, how to have self-worth, all that kind of stuff. So it's like all the things for me that I have to develop to empower them to be who they're supposed to be.
Right.
Super, super impactful.
And to be fair, you do a fantastic job of being present, being intentional, stewarding the things that you are charged to steward well. And I mean, from the outside looking in, I think you can see God's hand of blessing in your life in those areas. I mean, it's the parable of the talents, right? It's like you steward things well. If you're a good steward over little, you'll be given much. I mean, that's a biblical principle, and you can see the growth of that which you've been handed to steward because you've stewarded things so well for so long.
Right.
I
feel that too.
Yeah. I was looking at the life of a gentleman that I particularly admire in the business and financial world of things, and kind of look at the things that he's built. And he's like 80 years old, still working, like punches in 10, 12-hour days during the work week. Like, and to be fair, I think a lot of people could argue, okay, like, is that more than what should be given at that age? Should you spend more time with your family? Whatever. Okay, to each his own. Sure. But as I looked from the outside in, what it appeared to me was a very long life of consistently making the right decisions. And I really think that ultimately is kind of what charts your trajectory to a degree.
Yeah.
Is like, the more right decisions that you can stack on top of each other, and that's relational right decisions, that's financial right decisions, that's business right decisions, that's, you name it. You stack enough right decisions on top of each other, and eventually you end up in a pretty stinking good place.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think the opposite is true. Like, if you look at, and I don't know of a good word to describe it, but maybe a direction you don't want to go. If you can think of an example of somebody that's gotten to that place, but a direction you don't want to go, you can probably look at their life and see stacked wrong decisions. It's like a wrong decision isn't going to derail you most of the time. I guess depending on the severity of it, it certainly can.
It's a bad one, for sure.
But you stack enough wrong decisions, that's where you're headed. You stack enough right decisions, and that's you're going to reach something really, really, really freaking awesome.
There was a particular book that impacted me a lot when I was a little bit younger. And I was talking with a young man today, actually, who has been reaching out to me, and I've been helping him with some business stuff as he's stepping into becoming an entrepreneur and really kind of transitioning out of like corporate life. And there's one book in particular, I gave him a list of about 20. That's kind of like my short list of books that have really impacted me, and I'm working on like a list of about 100 to send him that are like categorized by the specific
probably going
to take
him 10 years to get through all
get
those.
through all these first. When you've made progress there, let me know and I'll send you the rest of them.
Yeah.
And it creates like a sense of ownership for him to go through that first batch as well. But one of the books in there was a book called The Compound Effect by a guy named Darren Hardy.
Okay.
And that book, when I read that, it was years ago that I read that book. But it massively impacted me because it's talking about like small, consistent things that you do over time become big things.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I had 2 books on there. One of them was the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone, which is all about like massive action. So it's like those two thoughts almost conflict each other a little bit, right? Because one of them's on the compound effect side. It's talking about small things over time. Grant Cardone talks about like massive action.
Right. Which they don't have to be mutually exclusive.
Right. But the thing though is like if you do massive action for, a long period of time, then the result is going to be exponentially greater.
Sure.
But when I think about that, I think like, man, if we just do small, consistent things over a long period of time, just like you said, eventually the results will be incredible. Yeah. And I had a pastor one time that was sharing this message, and he talked about getting 1 degree off. And 1 degree is like such a small amount. It could be, you told a white lie, right? That's a 1 degree, off course kind of thing. You cut out a little bit early when you should have been working. Yeah. You started a little bit late. Or maybe you started late, but you weren't actually using the time when you started late to do something productive, right? Whatever the thing is, 1 degree over a course of time is going to be way far off, right? And it's not that you're doing anything bad. Like you talked about, you might blow up your life, which people do that sometimes, believe it or not.
It's true.
It's not like a crazy thing. People, especially if they're
bad decision.
They don't have, if they don't have good hearts, they don't have good intentions, they get money. Pretty common that people blow up their lives, right?
Yeah.
But good people, though, sometimes will have little things in their lives that are a little bit off, that over the course of 5 years, 10 years, suddenly those are big things.
Right.
But what's really nice is you can easily course correct.
Totally.
And so I think even looking at this time of the year, it's like, hey, it's time to make those course corrections. If you need to bring something into alignment, if you need to get your life in order, if you need to get your work ethic in order, if you need to get your personal, your business development in order, it's easy, right? Go download some books on Audible. Go order a couple books on Amazon, right?
Right.
Register for a mastermind group. Sign up for our program.
Yeah.
Like I had to do a little
shameless plug.
No shame there. But that's the thing, man. It's like make the adjustments that you need to actually get to the places that you want to be. And it hurts me so much when I see people that have so much ambition. And this is one of if anyone ever asks me, what's your greatest strength, greatest weakness? It's believing in people.
Right.
Because I believe in people so much. I believe in the potential of people so much, often more than they believe in themselves.
Sure, totally.
And so I've had so many instances, even in the business that we've built, where we've had people that had so much potential, but when I started to put the pressure on of here's where we're going, they bowed out, right?
That's their own choice.
And it wasn't for them.
Right.
And that financially they could, potentially be better at this point, astronomically better at this point, and many other things as well.
Right.
But that's their choice. And so when you think about that, it's like everybody has decisions that they can make, and those decisions are going to have a ripple effect in their lives.
100%.
But as we get to this place toward the end of the year, you have the ability to reset that.
Yeah.
And so for any agent listening to this, for any agency owner listening to this, reset your business, right? If you need to make a reset it. You don't make it bigger than it needs to be. Just make the adjustments that you need to. Hire the people that you need to. Fire the people that you need to. Get it on track so that in 2025, you can hit the ground running and have a really, really impactful and successful year.
Yeah. And
Plain and simple.
100%. And I'll say, too, I think a lot of times we buy into this idea that my work life affects my personal life more than my personal life affects my work life. And I would make the argument that if that's true, that my work life affects my personal life more than my personal life affects my work life, that probably there's an imbalance there.
Priority.
Yes, an incorrect prioritization of things, that your personal life actually should be impacting your work life more than your work life is impacting your personal life.
Right.
And because of that, your personal life, the relationships particularly there, okay? And number one, being your spouse, your kids, okay? And then go out from there. That needs to be the area of first growth, development, improvement if it's not in good order.
Right.
In other words, don't hear this whole podcast today and think, oh man, my marriage is in shambles, but I need to do more, emphasis on my business.
Volume.
Right. Yeah. It's like, no, flip that on its head. Like, get your personal life in order first, because when that's the first priority, it will impact positively the way that you approach business.
Right.
That if you're trying to do business and your personal life is out of whack, your relationship with your spouse is out of whack, your relationship with your kids is out of whack, your friends, whatever, like, you're not going to do the business the way that the business should be done or could be done if it was healthy over there.
Right, for sure.
So get that in order, number one.
And I was just thinking about that too. Remember your number two if you had one. But I just want to interject one thing on that, if I may. Mm-hmm. If you feel right now that your marriage is in shambles because of your career, then I would encourage you to connect with your spouse and dream together about y'all's career together.
Mm. It's a partnership.
Yeah. If you're a woman, he or she, right? If you're a woman married, if you're a man married, right? Your spouse, okay, is equal in your ability to actually get to where you want to go.
Right.
So
100%.
You need to think about that in the reality of the situation. Like, when you formed a union together, you are now one. And so the things that you're going after together. And if you're going after them independently of your spouse, then really you're going to leave your spouse behind in the ability to actually do something impactful together. Yeah. And so the first thing that I would say to encourage with right there would just be like, dream with your spouse. Dream with your spouse. Because then if you need to put more emphasis on certain things in the business, right? Let's just say maybe it's finances. That's the big stressor. Talk about it. Talk
Right.
about the finances. Talk about your financial situation. Talk about where you want to be in the next 12 months. And then talk realistically about what it's going to take to get there. So rather than just working 12, 14, 15 hours a day,
Yeah.
let your spouse know, hey, honey, we're trying to get to this place here. We both want this together. It's going to take me doing this to get there.
Yes.
Are you okay with that?
Yes.
And if not, then let's adjust where we're trying to get and be more realistic for what's going to be best for us. Not us, me and you, but like us, me and my spouse.
Yeah. Heard.
I don't know why I had to preface that, but
I'm not sure either.
For the record. But I think that's super important, man.
It is.
And you were on number 2. Sorry, I had to interject that in there.
No, it's so good. It's so good. I'll be honest. I don't remember what number 2 was.
I'm sorry. I felt like someone really needed to hear that today.
100%.
Like dream with your spouse.
Well, create a purpose for the thing that you're doing.
Right.
So, and especially if you're both working, and okay, also especially if only one of you is working and the other is not, create a purpose together.
Totally.
Beyond this is just what I do to pay the bills.
Right.
Like that's not going to cut it when it requires a little bit extra.
Right.
Right. When push comes to shove, and you putting in the work requires a little bit extra than normal, and there's not joint alignment and joint vision on what that's becoming, then there becomes the opportunity for animosity toward the thing that's taking the time. Mm-hmm. And that's what you want to avoid.
Yeah. And especially because it's very, very common in this industry for, especially if you're a man listening to this right now, to have a stay-at-home mom, right, as your spouse. It's very common in this industry because of the amount of lucrative nature of this industry.
Yeah.
And often what we've seen is that there's a lot of spouses that want to be with the children. It's not that that's necessarily the best thing or the wrong thing. It's just what their choice is.
Right.
So it's equally important, and probably even more so important, to have these conversations if your spouse is a stay-at-home spouse, whether they're stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad, right? It could be either. I know for my wife, my wife, she does work. She works in our business.
Yep.
But since we've had a couple of kids, she's primarily stay-at-home and then does a lot of the high-level things that none of us can do.
Yeah.
So the stuff that she does is very important, and if that stuff doesn't get done, then we're in big trouble.
We're super thankful for her.
But man, I see the way that she works, and I have to tell her all the time, I'm like, what you do it feels more important than what I'm doing. Yeah. Like you are raising our children.
Yeah.
And it feels more important than me building a business, regardless of the size or magnitude of our business. It's like, when our business is doing billions of dollars a year in revenue, or valued at billions of dollars a year and doing hundreds of millions of dollars a year in revenue.
Yeah.
What you're doing has way more impact on actual lives of our children.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a point where what you're earning and what that equates to lifestyle wise is like splitting hairs.
Right.
Right? So you can go and amass more and more and more and more, and lifestyle is not that much different.
Right.
Because it's still a time limitation. At that point, it's just a limitation on the time that you have to actually be able to do things and use the things
yeah, totally.
of what you've amassed the wealth to be able to do. But the impact on children, I will say, I honestly don't believe that there is any business role more impactful. I think if we're about to go down the opinionation route, this whole
go down it, because this
should I?
this feels to me, Caleb, like this whole episode's about alignment, right? How do we bring ourselves, our thoughts, our goals into alignment as we enter the new year? So go for it.
I'll say
someone needs to hear it if you're feeling it.
The whole idea that for a woman to be successful, she needs to be career oriented, I think is an absolute load of crap.
And it could be vice versa too.
It
could be a man too.
Raising your own children the way that you determine is the best way for your children to be raised is a value that you can't hardly put a dollar on. Like, I don't know how you could try and monetarily come up with a financial equivalent to the value of raising your children the way that you want, collectively, right, between you and your spouse, for those children to be raised.
Yeah.
And obviously, by not having dual income, if that was the decision that was made, there's a financial cost to that, because the alternative is, oh, well, we have two incomes. Like, sure, you're paying probably for childcare and whatnot, but the value of raising your own kids, I just like, whether it be a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad, doesn't matter to me, but the value of that, I think, is crazy. And I will say, the reason that I said that about women in the workplace is because I feel like as of recent years, there's been a particular emphasis culturally on women in the workplace, as if them being stay-at-home moms is less.
Right.
And that is crazy to me. That's not less.
Yeah.
It's not less, in my mind, for a woman to be career-oriented and the husband be a stay-at-home. That's not the way I'm wired, personally. But I know people that works incredibly well for. So if that's your style, great. Let it be your style. Mm-hmm. But this idea that, like, it's career or bust, that's crazy to me.
Well, and people are different, right? So some marriages, they have everything split and all that.
Yeah.
Like, for me and my wife, we're like, hey, when we come together, like, we are one.
Yeah.
So, like, our finances are one. Like, we don't have a prenup or anything like that because we don't plan on ever getting divorced. Yeah. And now you could say that people would argue that no one ever plans on getting divorced.
Sure.
But, like, that's just not the way that we operate. And so to even think about, finances, right? If I'm the primary breadwinner in our home financially, it takes more to cook bread than just the money, than just the bread.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more to a meal than just bread.
Right.
And so I think about that pretty often. It's like, the financial part's great. It's great to have more than enough, to have more than we need, to have more than, we feel like we actually deserve sometimes, right? But the reality is there's a lot more to life than just money.
Yeah.
It's what you do with it. It's the way that impacts your family, your kids, like all that stuff. And it's extremely important to me. And I know I tell my wife this all the time, but, like, what she's doing is equally important as to what I'm doing.
100%.
If not more.
I would argue it's more, but
I've already said that, right? It's like, if not significantly more, but there's not like a one is better than the other because society says this is better. Right. So to have a successful career, I mean, we're beating the dead horse here, but to have that successful career is not more important than having a stable home. It's not more important than having, joy and peace and all these different things in your home. It's not more important than your kids feeling valued and loved and taken care of and, desired by their parents.
Right. Yeah. I'll say Chad Owen, in his verbal brevity, because he likes to get to the point quick.
Yeah, we don't. We talk about it. We bounce back and forth, and we just change it just a little bit and say the same thing.
But it's funny because he summed this whole conversation up with a public success and a private
failure.
And a private failure is still a failure.
See, we know it. We know his quote.
It's like he could take the last 15 minutes of conversation and sum it up in that one sentence. It's funny, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's like, man, like, if you get to the end of your life and you've amassed massive wealth and have relational strife, what's the point?
Right.
What's the point? Yeah. So and again, it goes back to finding the purpose in the thing together, joint.
Right.
That's the way I view it. Yeah, I guess there are people that they see it a different way, and okay.
We're not saying you're wrong. Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, it probably is. Is that arrogant?
We'll cheers to that.
Cheers.
Hey, that's our opinion.
Yeah.
Please don't try to get us canceled or anything like that.
No, but I mean, there's in a weird way, there's a little bit of a natural order to things, right? It's like we're gonna go down the biological route. We're gonna go back to annuities. I always find a way to get back to biology in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I said.
I don't know what's up with
don't
that.
get us canceled.
No, I'm not. I won't. But which is weird that it's biology and not physics.
Yeah,
because
right.
I'm like 99% certain that I'm kin to Isaac Newton, like on my dad's side.
Oh yeah. It's an old saying that you heard once.
It's an old saying. Yeah, everybody's kin to Isaac Newton. It's an old saying. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk practically. if agents listening to this right now, they want to get aligned going into this new year.
Yeah.
I'll give my piece first. You have to analyze where you're at. Okay, first and foremost, where are you at in your relationships? Where are you at in your business? Where are you at in your finances? Where are you at in your taking that business thing a little bit further? Where are you at in your business objectives compared to where you wanted to be at this time?
Yes.
Within a 12-month period.
Yeah.
And
Think
then,
back to last January.
Right. Did you
when
get where you wanted to be?
into this year? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you achieve it?
And did you change the things that you needed to actually get to that place? If you didn't, you got to make some changes.
Right.
Like plain and simple, there's no way around that. You got to make some adjustments, got to make some alterations to what you've been doing to actually give yourself a chance to get there next year.
Yeah.
I think another thing, like read books. People talk about mentorship all the time. Obviously, we have a mentorship program specific to annuity sales. And we talk about life and stuff in there as well. We give people a safe place to actually just be themselves, come as they are, right? And be able to grow into something more than what they currently are.
Yeah.
But get mentorship. I get mentorship all the time from people that I don't actually ever talk to. And I read so many books and I go through so many different things and I educate myself in a way that I'm getting mentorship that probably would cost tens and tens of thousands of dollars to get.
Yeah.
Through repeated listening to books.
And what you gain from that mentorship makes you more valuable.
Exactly.
At home, in work, all those things.
Yeah. So like analyze what books do you need to read. Look at what you need to actually adjust in your business and in your personal life.
Yeah.
Right? Those are my two starting. I'll keep it simple. Those are my two things right there. And then actually do the work. Maybe three things.
Yeah.
So analyze it, right? Look at the books and the practical things that you can do to actually get to where you want to be. So what's going to actually, if you look across and you say, hey, there's where I want to be, there's this bridge here, what's going to get you across that bridge? Okay, that's the books, that's the mentorship, that's the different things that you need to have in place going into next year to actually get there. And then you got to paddle yourself across that.
Yeah.
Right? So you might not be paddling in the water, but you're moving yourself on the little cart to get across the bridge, right? How do you get across that bridge? You got to use your manpower to actually get there. And so it's not going to be handed to you. And I think that's something that's really important for people to hear is nothing in this life is handed to us. It doesn't matter if you're making $500,000 a year right now and you're trying to get to $1 million. It's not going to be handed to you.
You got to earn it.
Yeah, $500,000 means nothing.
Yeah.
$1 million a year means nothing, right?
Yeah.
If it's just handed to you. So the people that have the most success in life and that maintain that success in life are the people that actually realize, like, I got to bust my to actually get to that next level that I want to get to, regardless of what that is. And now I'm getting into rah-rah, so I'm going to stop.
No, I like the rah-rah.
Yeah.
I just, when
that's what lives in my brain.
Yeah,
that's what my brain tells me every day.
Hey, I think we'll take more of the rah-rah.
Get off your butt and get to work, man.
It's true. It's true. I used to have a sticky note taped on my computer. Actually, I think it might still be there on my monitor. It's just now it's been there so long, you see it and you don't even really think about it. So I need to replace it, put it somewhere else, or whatever, so that I actually notice it. It's an acronym.
I know exactly.
You know exactly what it is. It's BYA, which you can imagine what that stands for, and it's GSD.
You gonna tell people what it actually stands for?
Yeah, it's bust your ass and get shit done.
I was gonna say stuff done, but
well, you can get stuff done.
Hey,
too.
Bust your butt and get stuff done. I mean, it's something that.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. I set you up right there.
Well, you did, but I like the rah-rah. There's something, it hits a little different when you use the terminology.
Right.
Yeah,
it's like work hard, get stuff done. Don't complain about where you're at. Don't complain about where you've come from. Like, I know for myself, and I've shared this before, but like there were times, my parents are phenomenal. Like I love my parents.
Yeah.
But they didn't grow up with anything. They didn't have anything as I was growing up. There were times where I literally had to boil water on the stove to have a hot shower, and I'd have to bring a pot of water into the shower with me that's ice cold water, and I'd have to mix water in the shower like this to actually dump hot water on my head. Like they didn't have money to pay for my college.
Yeah.
So I committed to myself in high school, hey, I'm going to get a full ride scholarship to go to college. It's the only way that I can go where I want to go. I wanted to go to UT in Austin.
And you did.
Yeah,
you
I
achieved.
Here's my class ring right here. I wear it every day.
You had your eyes on the goal, And you did what you needed to do to get to that place.
But do you know what that actually took to get there? Every single day, I was in the cafeteria, or I was in the library during lunchtime. I didn't ever go to the cafeteria. I was always in the library doing homework because I was the drumline captain, and I was like, really well known in school. I don't care about any of that,
right?
Because it was the kindness that I had that led to that, success that I had when I was even in high school.
Yeah.
But it's like the only thing that I was focused on was where I was going next. Now, I happened to meet my wife when I was in high school, so that was fantastic. I love her. But ultimately,
she's
for me,
amazing. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's
Shout
awesome.
out.
Yeah, she's awesome. Marissa,
have we ever? Okay, I was going to ask if we've ever used her name or not.
You used her name. I wasn't going to, but Marissa, if you're hearing this, I love you. But ultimately, like, I knew what I had to do.
Yeah.
To get to where I wanted to go. I'm the first person in my family to ever go to college.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not saying any of these things to brag, because there's many people that have gone to college. There's many people that have gotten full ride scholarships. There's many people that have done whatever, they've done and accomplished. But when you come from nothing, that's not an excuse to become nothing.
Yeah.
If you come from nothing,
say that again. That's really solid.
I don't even know what I said.
You said when you come from nothing, that's not an excuse to become nothing.
Yeah. When you've come from nothing, that's not an excuse to become nothing.
That's a line.
I'm glad that's on the record. That was mine and not yours.
Yeah. There's this old saying.
See, there's these things that just come to my head sometimes that I don't realize are there, and that's what lives in my brain.
There's going to be a point in conversation with somebody else.
You're going to say that
down
it was
the road. There's this old saying that when you come from nothing, it's not an excuse to become nothing.
Yeah. But when you've come from nothing, like, how much greater of a thing to actually become something? And it's totally possible. It doesn't matter if you came from no money. It doesn't matter if you didn't have a car growing up. It doesn't matter if your parents had a bad relationship. It doesn't matter if your parents struggled with addictions. It doesn't matter what that thing was, right? It doesn't matter if your parents, whatever, right?
Right.
All the things that you would possibly hear that people have been through, it doesn't matter.
Right. And if you come from something,
and if
you come from means, if you come from great parents, if you come from fantastic relationships, whatever that is, then the question becomes, what are you doing with that?
This particular guy I was talking with today, he comes from a family that's had pretty good success, and he's wanting to actually have his own success. And I told him, I said, man, what's great about having success is that when you form it on your own, and you don't just ride the coattails, it makes it so much sweeter.
Yeah.
I didn't come from success. Like, I mean, my parents are successful in some ways, right? Yeah. And they're great people. My mom, like, is one of the best people on the planet.
Shout out.
She would do anything for anybody.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, Mom, if you're listening to this.
Josh loves you.
Yeah, I love you. But, like, ultimately, like, it doesn't matter if you come from something that's, like, the ideal scenario.
Right.
Most of the time, the people that come from something become nothing. Yeah. Because it's been handed to them.
Yeah. They don't steward it well.
Right.
To bring this to a full circle.
My wife and I right now are talking about, stewardship, right? Your word for the year. My wife and I right now are talking about, like, hey, we feel so, like, snooty and weird saying this, but, like, we want to hire a house cleaner.
Yeah.
To come into our house and clean our house. It feels like something that's our responsibility to do. But because of the things that we're going after and the things that we just want to be pursuing, and fortunately that we can afford to hire a house cleaner, so, like, let's just hire a house cleaner. But one thing that we're talking about doing is not letting them pick up our kids' rooms, because we don't want our kids to grow up in entitlement. So we want our kids to know, like, hey, your room is your room.
You're responsible for that.
Right. So they'll come and they'll clean the other areas, but, like, you got to clean your own space.
Yeah.
Because life is not going to just be handed to you.
Yeah. Oh, so, okay. Because that's wisdom. Like, wisdom is knowing what to do with the thing, right? Like, knowledge, what's the old saying that knowledge is knowing that a tomato's a fruit, wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad?
Yeah, true.
Like, true. It's like knowing what to do with the thing. So
that's your old saying?
That's an old saying.
I said true like I've heard it. I've never heard that before.
I'm pretty sure I heard it on like a reel or a short or something somewhere along the way. But yeah, so that's like knowledge is knowing a tomato's a fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad. Wisdom is knowing, hey, we've got the means to do this thing, But simultaneously, there's lessons to be learned yet for our little ones.
Right.
And those are lessons that actually position them better to learn.
Right.
Like, they'll be better people for learning that. So if I'm responsible to cultivate and steward and kind of, the growth, those early years of a child, then that's wisdom. Here's where my mind went when you said that. That stewardship is the sum of intentionality plus wisdom. So if we're going to go full circle, and maybe it's not a perfect equation,
no, I think
but in my head it checks out.
Yeah, I think that's really good.
It's like you're intentional and you have wisdom. The sum of those two things equals the capacity that you have to steward the thing. So if you're lacking in intentionality or you're lacking in wisdom with the thing, then ultimately the way that thing gets stewarded is going to be below what it could be.
Right.
In other words, it could be improved by growing in intentionality and growing in wisdom.
That's really good, man.
That's a full circle podcast.
Yeah. So with all that said,
No. Well, are we done?
I don't know.
What time is it? I don't even know how long we've been going.
We've been going for probably 45 minutes.
Oh man.
I think that's a great stopping point, though. Great stopping spot, because really, that's, as agents are listening to this right now, the biggest thing they can do is be intentional with the way that they're setting up the next year to actually function. And so if they're thinking about even that word that you shared about stewardship, right? How are you stewarding what you've been given, what you've worked for,
right?
What you've, sacrificed for, what you've committed to your family to, right? How are you stewarding that thing? Like, gain wisdom in that.
Yeah.
Gain wisdom so you can actually get to where you want to go. The only person that's going to stop you from getting where you want to go is you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's president of the United States. It doesn't matter, what law has changed in your area. It doesn't matter, what legal things happen in our industry, right? The only person that's going to stop you from getting to where you want to go is you. And so you're either going to get there or you're not. And you're the one that's got to live with where you end up.
Yeah.
And so, what I would encourage anybody listening to this podcast today to do, reflect, analyze where you need to be, analyze where you're at, and then analyze where you want to be.
Yeah.
Right? So reflect, look at how this year has progressed. Has it ended up where you've wanted it to end up? If it has, great. How do you double down next year? Right? If it hasn't, man, what do you need to adjust? Because you need to make some adjustments, because next year I guarantee you're going to be in the same spot.
Yeah.
And then what's going to happen? You're going to feel shame. You're going to feel guilt. You're going to feel all this crap that you don't need to feel. You have the power to change where you're going to be in a year.
Right.
So make the adjustment, change yourself, change your trajectory, and then actually take the action needed to get there.
Yeah.
Invest in the things you need to, right? Connect with the people that you need to. Find accountability people to hold you to the things that you want to go after. The people that are going to pull you up when you screw up, the people that are going to smack you around when you do something stupid.
There's an old saying, if I may, real quick.
Yeah, please.
Again, from the conference that I think I referenced earlier, that your network is your net worth. It's kind of a cheesy line, but my gosh, if that's not the truth of it, like if you don't have people around, if you've got only yes men or yes women around you, like you got to change that. Like, you need people to call you.
Yeah, how
out.
often do we have conflict? Every week.
Every freaking week. And yet we're always like chomping at the bit to go golfing together and hang out and do Annuity Happy Hour.
Because we love each other.
Yes, of course.
But like that's what love is. Love speaks truth. We speak the truth in love.
Yes.
So like if we feel like there's something that's not meshing up, then we share it with each other.
Right.
And it might piss us off in the moment, but we realize like, oh yeah, I was a little bit wrong there.
Yeah.
Or, oh yeah, Caleb was a little bit wrong there again.
It doesn't even last to bedtime.
Yeah, it doesn't even, we
I
joked
don't
about
think
that
I've
today.
ever gone to sleep like still mad at Josh or
Yeah.
frustrated or whatever with the situation.
Yeah, and I joke that like you do that with your spouse, right? Never go to bed angry.
We don't either.
Yeah, we don't go to bed angry either. But like when you think about it though, like candidly, when you're in a business partnership with somebody
Yeah.
or multiple people, it's the same thing. you're basically in a committed relationship with that individual, and your spouse is tied to that individual now, right? Your family's tied to that individual in the way that they live and the way that they, carry forward in their life. So it's like, yeah, we're going to have conflict because what you do and what I do is going to affect each other.
Yeah.
So we have to have conflict so that we can make sure that what you do and what I do is actually leading us both and both of our families to where we're trying to get.
Yeah.
And same with Chad, same with Jesse, a couple of our other partners. And it's like, it's just part of it. It's part of being in a partnership. You have to speak the truth in love.
You have to.
And if you have yes men, like Caleb was saying, yes women in your life, you're the
one paying the price for it.
It's gonna feel good.
Yeah.
Until it doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a real point where it won't.
Because it's gonna feel real good, and then you're gonna realize 10 years from now, like, man,
that wasn't what I needed.
I'm not very successful. I'm not really doing much. A lot of people like me.
Yeah.
If you're doing something of value, there's gonna be people that don't like you.
Oh man.
And the whole fear of man thing, like we need to save that for another episode. Probably hit it. You can hit it real quick.
Well, you keep talking. I got a thing I gotta find. This was a. Go ahead.
Yeah, but when I say that though, like the whole fear of man thing, like you got to stop being afraid that you're gonna offend somebody or that someone is gonna not like you or that you're gonna, get yourself in a. We joke about like. We don't want to be canceled because obviously nobody wants that. But like at the same time, you got to know you have to know what you believe and believe that thing and do it unapologetically. Now, That doesn't mean be a jerk. That doesn't mean that you're, making other people feel inferior to you who believe different things. Like we're Christian. We work with a lot of people that aren't Christian.
Right.
That love working with us because we don't push our Christian beliefs on them.
Right.
We're not going to falter in our beliefs.
Right.
But we're going to be true to who we are, and we're going to not shy away from sharing who we are, and we're going to do the things that we say we're going to do.
Yeah.
And because we do the things that we say we're going to do, people that aren't aligned with us in our, our highest level of belief, which is our faith,
right,
they still want to work with us because they know that they're going to be working with honest people.
Yeah.
Who are going to do right by them, who are not going to screw them over. We're not gonna, yeah.
No,
I mean, don't even need to say more. I mean, you get the point.
Literally this week, I was talking with our director of digital products and services, and I was telling her we've got this big producer, $8 million a year or so that he's writing, that is just chomping at the bit to come on board with Retirement Realized Financial, the FMO, and the only thing that's holding any of that up is the website. So she's actually been stepping out of her normal day-to-day to do a favor for, quite frankly, for me, to be able to recruit this agent that really wants to work with us. And she asked me candidly, she said, Caleb, why are these agents so excited to work with you? She told me she's had conversation with agents that conversation was just like, they were head over heels. And again, that's a weird thing to say. I get it. I mean, I don't mean it in a weird way. It's not
sure,
whatever. But she was genuinely curious, like, what is it about Retirement Realized Financial specifically? Because in her world, like, there's a little bit of a disconnect, right, between what she's doing and what we're doing in the FMO. And I told her, I was like, honestly, I think it's just the way we choose to do business. It's like if we say we're going to do something, we're going to do it. Like our word is our bond. And I think that reputation precedes us in a way. I think there are other things that are magnetic. You look at Chad, you look at Jesse writing massive numbers in annuity production. That's a magnetic thing, right? That makes agents excited to learn how are they doing what they're doing.
It opens the door,
yes.
Right? But what closes the door behind them when they're in with us?
It's the way we choose to do business. Right. And that's what I was telling her, was like, it's if we say we're going to do it, we're going to do it. And so to your point, it's like, yeah, we're not just saying that on a podcast. Like that's actually the thing. That's the way we do it. But you were talking about reputation to a degree a minute ago.
Like the fear of man.
The fear of man.
Yeah.
So I think it was 2 years ago. I went out to the cabin, and I like to go out there periodically and write. And so you might actually see Caleb publish a book this is accountability now to say it on a podcast. But I've had a dream, a vision to publish a book called A Collection of Revelations, which is basically just things that I've learned, things I feel like the Lord's shown me over the last 12 years of life. I was at the cabin and I wrote this down. It's real short. I'll read it. It says, recently I've been pondering the differences between working to have a good reputation and idolizing my reputation. As with any good thing, the line between putting effort in and idolizing is a rather fine line, and it can quickly and easily be justified one way or the other. Where I've landed in the matter is this. Jesus' reputation was, quote-unquote, good amongst the lowly, the hurting, the broken, the humble, the loving, and the kind. But his reputation was, quote-unquote, bad amongst the self-righteous, the self-idolizing, the hateful, the religious doers of injustice. What this means is that staying true to who you're called to be, the character you have in Christ, is going to be perceived by some as good and by others as bad. So we ought not get consumed by trying to win over the affections of those who see good things as evil, and we ought not let the praise of the good create an ego that boasts in self. Quote-unquote, working to have a good reputation is not inherently proud, but it's a slippery slope when we begin treating the good reputation as the end, rather than a mere byproduct of living a life of love the way that Jesus did. In other words, a good reputation ought not be the goal, but rather a symptom, a side effect of living the life that God has called us to live. So
I'm gonna pre-order the first copy right here.
Quit. Oh, that's funny.
It's worth more than $5, but that's all I got in my wallet right now.
Oh man. Point being, yeah, you're gonna have a reputation with people whose opinions you admire. Is it good? And with people whose opinions you don't, it shouldn't really matter.
Yeah,
like
it's true.
So, anyways, I don't know
true,
how we
man.
got to that, but stewarding,
Yeah,
in a roundabout way.
Yeah,
Your business, your relationships, all the things, like grow where you need to grow so that other people aren't dealing with the things that you choose not to develop.
Yep.
Steward the business, your relationships well, and to Josh's point, analyze and dream.
Yep.
Where are you at? Where do you want to be? What are the steps necessary to get to that point? And then execute.
And then do it.
Yeah. Do the stinking thing.
Do it. Yeah.
BYA-GSD. We can't end on that.
We're ending on that.
We're ending on
With that said, cheers
to another great week.
To another great week and to the great end of this year.
Yes.